So after a decent amount of waiting for this Pyxis monitor to finally come in and integrate this camera to the camera that we kind of were promised, it's finally here. So was it worth it? Let's get into it. So if you took this Pyxis journey from the start, you'll know that most of us have kind of found ways to build out this camera, make this camera work, and to be the most efficient camera that it can be. But one of the missing puzzle pieces was the monitor. Again, I was excited to have SDI as a monitor connection. I have many SDI monitors and love to use SDI, but I did want to take advantage of the power draw from the USB-C to a USB-C monitor. This was super exciting. So the monitor finally came today. I wanted to kind of put it through some paces just to see the basics and see everything that works. So if we look at the details of the monitor itself, you can control pretty much all the menus. It's not a problem. The idea is that you can manage all your camera system from this monitor, whether it's record, all your settings, things like that, which I think obviously before we couldn't really do. Which to me is why I think everybody was excited about this camera, because, you know, we wanted that integration with the monitor. When they announced the monitor, I thought it brought it to the next level. And I think that's really interesting. Again, being able to record from the monitor, change all your settings on the go, and keeping it now with this one cable that you can just, you know, put right in there. You've got some really nice function keys here, and you can set those up and customize them the way that you want. It's a huge plus. As far as monitors go, I think it's a really decent monitor. Again, this is an aluminum frame. This is more of a composite in here. And again, one cable controlling the video, going right to the front of the USB camera. Again, you can use some of these kind of cable solution things here, so it'll keep it from kind of pulling or tugging or whatever, and it seems to work okay as is. But again, the monitor itself I think does really well. And again, if you want to hook up a transmitter, you can put it right to the SDI and then have a transmitter there, or whatever other accessories you wanted to add to this going out. So I think that's nice. So one of the reasons I think this is going to be beneficial for you is that this screen is really, really reflective. Typically I don't use sun hoods, but I did notice outside that I was getting some glaring, and this definitely helps with that. And again, it's a very simple to operate thing. It's super easy to deal with, and that'll avoid some of that glaring. You'll get a nice kind of clean image out of it. It's not something I would use in studio, obviously, or in interior shoots, or if there's, you know, there's not a lot of reflections in light, I would probably not use this, but it's a good to have. And if I want to store away my monitor, I can put that all in and be done. Again, the benefits of having this monitor for me was I really wanted to have this kind of cohesive feel of a camera kit, same way that, you know, Red had their monitors kind of like, you know, set up for them, and the way that it all looked together. It is really well built. It's got like an aluminum frame, and on the back it looks like they use a little bit of a composite. The other thing I wanted to kind of address was the USB-C cable. So it does not ship with a USB-C cable. All you get is the monitor, the hood, and then some material and some stickers. Nothing really, you know, that to scream to mom about. It's really just that. It's the monitor itself, and yes, there is no cable. I would love to have that locking cable for the USB-C. I think it's a nice touch. I ended up using KONDOR Blue's cable management system, and the way I have it here, it kind of ties into the cable so they don't slip out, and it's worked well so far and kept it really, really clean as is. Now, this is really a light setup. Typically, if I'm going for a longer day shoot, I would add, you know, rails, and I would probably hook up my base plate and use that more in a production style setup where I can use some V-mounts and power along all day. Now, as far as the battery goes with this monitor, with the smaller version of this battery, You can probably get about an hour or so, a little bit close to an hour, a little over an hour. With this battery, you're looking at about 2 hours, a little under 2 hours, depending on the usage and what codec you're using. And I think that's pretty good considering it keeps this package like super light, easy to deal with, and it's great. Again, I think the monitor itself fits really well with this camera. It feels like it's part of it. It works really well. You can pretty much use any USB-C cable, something like from a T5 drive or a T7 drive, something like that, just for a reference. Worked. I tried a few cables and they all worked. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Again, happy it finally came, but we've been waiting for such a long time for this monitor. I actually forgot about it. I put it in the car, pre-ordered it, and I just thought it was never going to come. Somebody said it was going to come before the new year, and then it ended up being January, and now we're towards the end of February. Happy it came, really pleased with it. It does change the kit a little bit and makes me happy that I can just bring this with one cable, and I've got the power and transmission or the video coming into the camera with that alone. So just one cable kind of managing everything, which is really nice. Again, if you have any questions, comments, please leave them below, and really appreciate you guys subscribing and watching the channel. We do want to keep making videos and appreciate your attention, subscription, comments, all that good stuff. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks again, and I will see you guys on the next one.